Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Oh, this is a very serious channel, and on our whiteboard right here, we have what we discussed in our last video. And we are going to go on with this in our next video. So I wanted to go through a little review. And I'll reference that last video up here so you can go take a look at it. And here's what our subject was. Emotions do nothing to the body. Emotions do nothing to the body. Now, we went through looking at the black box, looking at input data from two sources. An outside source, which is your sensory input, and a memory that is triggered inside and then comes back in to the active mind. And we're looking at where do emotions come from. Now, in the egoic world, their statement was, we develop emotions. Emotions develop first, and then they cause the body to respond in certain ways. Now, as we went through the model here, that's not the model. That's not even true. But it is in the egoic world because that's the belief system. But as I went through this model and looked at how input information is handled, which is stimuli from the outside, and how memories are handled, which is information that is reprocessed on the inside, that through this black box, which I call the active mind, which is the mind, brain, and central nervous system, inside of this is your subconscious mind, all your memories, all your beliefs, all your values, all your life experiences, all rest in here. And you take the input information and you interpret it. It doesn't come from the outside. You interpret it inside and signal the body how to respond. And when you signal the body how to respond, how it vibrates, you're going to describe, because you're going to say, I am vibrating, I feel, I'm feeling, I'm vibrating in a sad way, in a happy way, in a disappointing way, in a glorious way. In other words, the emotions come as descriptors describing how the body is responding. You don't create emotions outside. Emotions are how your body vibrates on the inside based upon input data. So there are no outside emotions first. First, the final step, the body vibrates and you feel a certain way that you describe in emotional words. Now, one thing I left out, and I do it several times, and I'm sorry I do, but it was A Course in Miracles, because it spoke very clearly to this point. And so I'm going to read it, but you'll see it up here too. And here's what the Course says in relationship to negative emotions. And here's what the Course says. It is always an interpretation that gives rise to the negative emotions, regardless of their seeming justification by what appears to be fact. Everything is an interpretation in the mind. Everything. And then you respond to it in the body. And that's basically what this model does. So now we'll go on to another interesting topic related to what's not true in the illusion. Right now. And this is our subject for today. And it looks a little chaotic, which it's my drawing, so I'm going to have to explain it. But first, our subject. Did you know everything is interconnected? Did you know that everything is interconnected? Now, I have to make this statement because we're in an illusion. In the egoic world, everything is separate. You're separate, I'm separate, other people are separate, cars are separate. Separateness is all there is in the egoic world. Now, I'm making the statement, did you know everything is interconnected? So we're going to look at that process. Now there's a lot of information in the description, so you can get some background there. But I'm going to have to go real quickly through what I have already got on the board. First, in the background, where everything is on top of, is the infinite field of everything. Energy. Everything is energy. Now, on this little diagram, we have a fish. We have a butterfly. We have, now it's hard to see, but this is a weather system. It's weather. It's chaotic. It's the weather. And this down here is the flower of life. And right in the center is you. You're right here. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about first the fish and understanding that the fish, first let us start with just energy. That's all there is energy. You may call it the all, you may call it consciousness, you may call it other names, but it's everything. And it's energy. And as that energy moves around, some of it will coalesce into fixed patterns of energy within the grander system. And the fish that we're going to start with, I want you to kind of think about the fish as a coalesced small energy system. And this little fish, which is an energy system, is within the grander system. And imagine it's the ocean. So our little fish is in the ocean. So this energy and the grander energy of the ocean are interconnected. They're not separate. They can't be separate and have the system in balance. So as the fish moves through the water accommodates the energy of the fish, and they dance together. And there's no holes, no separation. There is infinity of the energy, and then there is the coalesced, smaller, fixed energy, and they dancing together. There's no holes. There's no gaps. There's no space between the fish, the small energy, and the larger energy of the ocean. So I want you to get the idea that they are interconnected. And the ocean wouldn't be the ocean without fish, and without the ocean, there wouldn't be any fish. So there is a symbiotic relationship between that. When one moves, the other moves. When they dance together, it affects the whole energy system. Now, we don't think that way. We say, well, we're separate stuff. I'm separate from my significant other. I'm separate workforce. I got other buddies with me, but we're all separate. I want you to look behind that and begin to see that everything is interconnected. Now, that's one model that I kind of want you to get. Now, butterflies. Now, who'd ever think a butterfly, how you're connected to the butterfly? So you might think about something called the butterfly effect. Now, we're just going to talk about the effect, not necessarily the butterfly, but that's what it's called. And it basically says that when a butterfly flaps its wings in some part of the world, Africa, Costa Rica, a butterfly flaps its wings, it is the start of a weather system in the Caribbean, because they're interrelated. They're interrelated. They're in the same system. They're not separate. The butterfly is not separate from its environment. It is attached to it and affects it. So when the butterfly flaps its wings, other things move. Other air currents move in response. And the way the butterfly is flittering on the wind is a relationship between the breeze and the butterfly. So they are interrelated. Are you kind of getting the idea that the fish, the butterfly, through the butterfly effect and in their environment, and it's all tied together? Now, let us move on to the weather system. Now, when I was a lot younger, you couldn't depend on the weatherman to tell you anything. But since then, we developed methods to make it not 100%, but much closer to what we can expect in the weather. And how was that done? It was done on something called the chaos theory. The fact that everything is chaotic, and that when a system begins to develop, the very early stages of the system have a tremendous effect. The early system is very sensitive to the initial conditions. And so to have a thundercloud, and that's what this is supposed to be, a thundercloud, there are small changes within the whole system that as it runs its course has a tremendous effect on how the system is, what the system is going to produce. Now, this is the weather system. The same thing is true of the currents in the ocean. It's the same thing as the sun's solar flares. It's all related. Everything is related. Now, in the egoic world, we can't see that. We say, well, no, I don't care what they're doing in other parts of the world or the cosmos or the what stars are being made and blown up. I don't care about that. And we're in the illusion. And so we don't. Our main concern is, how am I going to survive here in the illusion? But I'm suggesting by recognizing you are part of the whole, that you can make decisions that is going to support you in having a life that you can be happy in. Now, what is this down here, the flower of life? The flower of life is a very ancient, old symbol. It is basically circles that interact, that interface with circles and circles. And as you change one, you affect them all. As you change one, everything shifts. So through this concept, because it looks like a flower, when you get those circles interacting, interchange, it looks like a flower. And I know you've seen the symbol, you might not recognize it from my description, so I'll get a picture, I'll show it, so that you get an idea. It has been around over 6,000 years. We have records of it going back that far, and they're referenced in the description. So here you are. You are also embedded in this infinite field of everything. You are embedded in your environment. You and your environment are one. You create your environment the way it is. And then you have the environment, and you say, well, I don't want this. That's where manifesting comes in. You say, well, I don't want this, I want something different. Now, because of the egoic belief system, manifesting, you believe in magic. That you're going to do a couple magic things, like a sorcerer. You're going to stir the pot, say affirmations and stuff, and then the universe is going to give you stuff. You're embedded in your environment. You want a different environment? You have to change. The infinite system of everything, this energy system, is not going to change. It's already everything. It can't change. The only thing that can change is how you filter the information that is already there. And as you do that, you change. And as you change, you will see and experience a different environment. Everything is interconnected. Everything. Oh, We're going to go on with this topic next time. But I wanted to bring forth, now here's the thing, I said you're interconnected. Oh, yes, A Course in Miracles. Ha! I almost forgot that again. I get talking and I forget stuff. A Course in Miracles. Here's what the Course says. In my mind, behind my insane thoughts of separation, is the knowledge that all is one forever. We are one forever. But in the egoic world, of course, we don't see that. We see only separateness. It's when you step behind and begin to appreciate you are interconnected with everything. In your mind is the knowledge, ancient knowledge, that all is one forever. Now give that some thought, because we're going to move on from that and recognize some very... Now see, the last couple of videos has taken direct attack on the egoic thought system. This is another one. You're not independent. You are dependent. We are dependent on each other. And when we lose track of that, we get chaos. Now there was an old saying, I think it was Wayne Dyer the first time I heard it, and he said, American Indians, they believe that, it's a very foolish tree, very foolish flower of life that fights between the branches, that attacks in the branches of the same tree of life. Oh, there's much to think about here in the illusion. And until we see each other again, which will be here, we'll still be in the illusion. Hopefully, we'll have a little better insight. I'll see you then. Bye now.
Kapai ka makaniki kainiki ana iho vela vela oi mai ka